So, here's the central question for us today. Think about this. How can just 17 syllables, a tiny little haiku, and a much longer, 58-word poem actually express the very same soul? It seems impossible, right? But that's the beautiful puzzle we're going to solve. And, you guessed it, the answer is all wrapped up in this idea of rebellious joy. Okay, so the artist at the heart of all this, her name is Mildred Achok. It's that unique perspective, being comfortable with both light and shadow, that is absolutely key to understanding the two pieces we're about to look at.
All right, first up, let's look at the first expression. And we're starting small, with a haiku. I want you to think of it like a single, perfectly captured snapshot. A moment of transformation. Just one fleeting thought that has the power to change, well, pretty much everything.
So the poem starts us off in a really low place, right? Both literally and emotionally. The Valley of Dusk. That's not just talking about the time of day, is it? It's that feeling, of being surrounded by shadows, a state of sorrow, of not knowing what's next. This is our starting point. We're right in the heart of darkness here. So what's the catalyst for change here? What pulls us out? Well, it's not some huge dramatic event. It's a winged thought. Something so fleeting, so light, you could almost miss it. And I love this part. The thought doesn't erase the dusk. It sweetens it. It completely changes the experience of being in that valley.
And just like that single winged thought is powerful enough to lift us all the way from that valley of dusk to the mountaintop of dawn. And that's exactly what it sounds like. It's a symbol of hope, of clarity, a brand new beginning. Think about that. That's a complete emotional journey, all in just 17 syllables. Incredible.
Okay, so now let's switch gears. We're going to see how this idea of rebellious joy evolves from just a fleeting thought into a very deliberate act. Our second piece is a longer poem, and it's called Lest Sorrow Sew a Mourning Garment. And fun fact, this one actually won third place in an online poetry contest. What's so cool about it is that it doesn't just capture a moment of hope. It shows us how to actively build it. Right off the bat, this poem starts with a call to action. And I want you to notice that verb, sow. This is so different from the haiku, isn't it? This isn't about just waiting for a winged thought to show up. No, this is about taking the needle and thread of peace and hope into your own hands and literally weaving them into your soul. And the metaphor just gets deeper from here. We're not just sewing a simple little line. We're creating a patchwork. Think about that. You're taking all these different pieces, maybe even the scraps left over from grief, and you're stitching them together into something beautiful and totally defiant. These fearless flowers that have the audacity to bloom right in the middle of a field of mourning. So powerful. And then, wow, the tone shifts pretty dramatically here. This resilience, it's not about just gritting your teeth and surviving. No way. Achok compares it to a bridal garment, something celebratory, beautiful, and just filled with joyful anticipation. So what she's saying is, resilience isn't just about enduring the hard times, it's about actively preparing for the joy that's coming. And finally, the whole poem lands on this absolutely incredible phrase, rebellious joy. That's what this is all about. It's joy as an act of defiance. It's making the conscious choice to sing in a dark room, to create your own light. You see, it's not just a feeling, it's a strategy for survival and for triumph. So, okay, we've got these two very different expressions of the same soul, right? One is this sudden flash of insight, and the other is this deliberate, careful creation. So how do they really connect? Well, let's put them side by side and find out. So, if you look at the structure, the haiku is super tight, 17 syllables. It gives you that sudden, natural spark of an image, like a photo. But the poem, it's free verse, it's flowing. That allows for a more handcrafted image, like a garment being woven over time. And that's the key, really. The haiku captures a moment of hope. The poem describes a continuous act of resilience. So at the end of the day, that's really the difference, isn't it? The winged thought from the haiku, it's like a gift. It's a spark that just finds you in the dark. But the garment of hope, that's something you have to make for yourself, piece by piece, thread by thread. And here's the thing. Both are totally valid, incredibly powerful ways of finding the light. And both of them perfectly reflect an artist who is so good at finding the beauty where shadow and light meet. So what's the big takeaway here? Why does this all matter? Well, I think it's because it gives all of us a language for our own resilience. Sometimes hope just finds you, like a winged thought in a fleeting moment. And other times we have to build it ourselves. We have to sew that garment. And the most important thing to remember is that both of those, they're both incredible forms of strength.
And all of this brings us to one final thought. Whether it's that fleeting thought or the garment you carefully create, Akko calls these acts of resilience heart and soul songs. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. In your own darkest days, what songs are you going to sing? What is the shape of your rebellious joy?